Today we're going to work on the second two techniques, last two techniques of the purple belt, going from orange to purple from the first dawn or first stripe. And it's going to be, last time we did eagle pin, drawbridge, flashing wings, and then today we'll do handstaff, how to stop an attack from the top, and also opening cowl, how to stop somebody who's choking you. So the first one, handstaff, deals with somebody who has a club or a stick or a bottle, and they're coming at you vertically, which is possible. They could also come at you laterally or diagonally, it's possible. But in this instance, you guys coming straight over the head. And there's three variations, A, B, and C, three different ways you can handle it. But the most important thing that's taught in all three is the idea of getting offline. So when that attack's coming at you, it's a straight line coming towards your head. And the first thing you want to do is just take your left leg and step out 45 degrees. A lot of times when something comes straight at us, we step in about 11 o'clock, kind of an open heel toe. But today we're taking it a little bit more conservatively, and we're cutting it right out toward 45 degrees, about 10:30 on the clock. So going out to your horse stance, you're offline. And when you get out there, it's good to try to get your head moving first, which is a little bit unnatural. Usually people kind of go foot, then head, but your head needs to get offline first, right? Because that thing's coming right at your head. So it's important when you move to flex your strong leg, your right leg, and push yourself offline with your head first, then your foot. And after you get offline, you do want to somehow gain control, and you want to somehow stop that weapon coming towards your head. So nowadays we often just teach this, block and break, and we teach one for two people coming at us. But some time ago we used to teach three, which are A, B, and C. And A was what we call a double block wheel kick. It's something that's one of the kicks we learn as we go from orange to purple. And a double block wheel kick, same principle, something comes over your head, you're going to step off 45 degrees so you don't get hit. And as you do that, you're going to do an inward block followed by an outward block. So it's two blocks, a double block. And the timing would be inward block with the horse, and as you do the outward block, you're going to move into a right cat. This is going to be an outward extended. So you do an outward block, but then you rotate a little further, and that allows you to push those arms further away, and also you could grab them if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you're in a position where you can gain more control if you need it. So the timing will be, we'll step off to the horse as we do the inward block, and we'll move into a cat stance as we do the outward extended. The other hand will come back to our side. So it's inward, outward extended, and that'll knock away whatever it is coming at us. This is kind of a cool fail-safe for anything that comes right at you, like a straight punch, a club, a knife coming straight at you, could even be a kick coming at you. If it's a straight line attack, you can step offline and do a double block, and you'll have control. And it could be his right arm or his left arm, and you don't have to change sides. Doesn't matter what arm is coming at you. If you step out with your left, you do the inward cat outward extended, you'll be way offline, and you'll knock away whatever it is. You'll have the guy open, and you can counterattack. You can hit him, you can knee him, you can kick him. When we teach this, we usually teach it with a wheel kick. So we do a double block, then we fire a wheel kick. You could also, if you're in too tight, you could drive in a roundhouse knee. Roundhouse knee would come into like the solar plexus. If it's a wheel kick, same thing, you go for solar plexus. So if you figure, well, I'd like to kick this guy for whatever reason, it's good to cut the beginning angle kind of wide, really going for 45 degrees. That puts him more in the range of a wheel kick. But if you say, well, I want to knee him, knees are very powerful. There was a test done with the Discovery Channel. They had different martial artists from different styles. They're trying to figure out what martial art strike could generate the most PSI, pounds of pressure per square inch. And they had all these different styles, different punches, kicks, elbows, knees. What they found, I think it was the Muay Thai kickboxers, by driving in a knee, it was a roundhouse knee, we're able to generate the most PSI, the most pounds of pressure, the most destructive energy. So a knee, especially a roundhouse knee, into a soft part of the anatomy, the solar plexus, very effective. But if you wanted to do a knee, you gotta cut it tight. You gotta go off at the heel toe position or about 11 o'clock. And then you would fire, probably grab a guy and fire in your knee. If you want to kick them, then you would cut it wider. You go off 45 degrees, inward, outward extended, and then wheel kick. And after you do the wheel kick at 45 degrees, you would step back away with your right foot from the corner from 45 degrees. So in handstaff A, the angles are only diagonal. So you're going off to the left corner in the beginning, then you're kicking or kneeing or hitting toward the right corner, then you're covering from the right corner. And that's called a double block wheel. We used to call it handstaff A. And nowadays, we're usually just teaching these later two. We're going to cover in a second here, B and C. Now it's become A and B. But the A is also very good. It was just a little bit redundant because we were already teaching it as one of the kicks. So what I want you to think about in this technique is that if you ever panicked and something was just coming at you really fast and you just couldn't think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You can always fall back on a double block wheel because of the way it works. It gets you offline. The two steps that are really getting your head offline is the horse stance, and then the cat puts you even further off that line. It's pretty cool. And then you're able to block. It gives you control. You can grab if you need to, and then you can hit the guy with whatever weapon you feel at the time is best. So if you ever panic and you don't know, is it a right punch? Is it a left punch? Is it a club attack? Is it a knife? You don't really know what's coming. This would be great. The only exception would be if it was a right hook, like a right, coming with his right hand, a right punch, right roundhouse punch, or a right slashing knife, or a right club coming in. That wouldn't be good to go off that way, would it? Because you'd be kind of walking right into the impact, right? But anything from his left hand and anything coming with right or left, coming over or straight at you, this would be great. So for the majority of attacks, not every one, but a lot of the attacks that could happen in a fight, this double block wheel kick, stepping left and using your right leg to attack, works for so many things. So it's a really good thing to practice. You know, we used to call it handstaff A. So again, it's going to be stepping out of the way, inward block, cat stance, outward extended, wheel kick, and then stepping back 45 degrees. So that's A. B, which we now teach as A, is just using your arms, and you're stepping off 45 degrees so you're avoiding getting hit, as we covered before. You're doing the fork extended block, as we mentioned before, to trap his arm, and then you're going to be grabbing his wrist for control. Master Lee would say when you grab in the martial arts, you want to grab like an animal. You want to grab like your life depends on it, right? So when you engage, you really have a grip on this guy, solid grip. When you practice martial arts, the tighter you make your fist, when you do like kata 1 or kata 2 or anything you're doing with a tight fist, really squeeze. That makes your hand a solid weapon, but it also strengthens the muscles here, which give you a very strong grip. So if you ever have to grab somebody in a street fight, you'll have a very powerful grip. So whenever you do a hard style type form, really put emphasis on squeezing your hands tight. So that's handstaff B. It's the block to get offline, grab, and then your left foot is going to step toward that corner, 45 degrees. You're going to raise up your left arm, step in with your left foot, and as you step in, you're going to pull a little bit with your right arm and drive your left forearm down into his elbow. So if you get somebody's arm straight and you hit right on the elbow, it only takes about 20 psi, about 20 pounds of pressure per square inch, to make the elbow joint fall apart. You're not breaking a bone, you're just making the joint dislocate. If you do that, it really hurts terribly, and also the joint won't work. Probably took out his favorite weapon, his right arm was the one coming at you. So in handstaff B, again we now call it A, we're stepping off 45 degrees. We do fork extended block, grab, left arm makes a big circle for power. We step in with our body weight, break the guy's arm, right? So we're stepping in with our body weight, use a low horse to give you a lot of power, and then to get out of there, cat stance and back to a horse stance going toward the back corner. So again, this technique has two diagonals. You go up 45 degrees initially to block and control. You step toward that corner to break, and then you cover toward the back corner to get out of there. It's pretty simple. It's just block, break. It's a fast technique. So when the club comes at us, we're going to go block, break, and we're done. And that break could be so painful and disabling, the guy can't fight anymore. So the next one is C, we now call B. So we only teach two now. This is a club coming over your head, just like the one before, but now you feel like, I think there's somebody behind me too. So you're going to use the guy in front of you as a screen to protect you from what you think might be behind you. There might be an opponent behind you. You just have an inkling. If you saw something, heard something. So this is a different tactic. We're stepping off though the same way in the beginning, 45 degrees. We do the same block. And we're going to grab his wrist. We're going to lift up our arm like we did in the one previous. But the footwork is different. What we do with the feet, we step out 45 degrees, and then our right foot comes through a cat stance. I'll be moving away from this door behind me. Cat stance, and my right foot continues back. I'm coming towards you guys, toward the camera, into a horse. I'm taking really just two big steps, right? I'm stepping off 45 degrees. That'll be step one. And I'm going to go through a cat for control, back to another horse. And the hand technique will be the same as the one we did previous. It's going to be a block, a grab, and a break. But the footwork allows me to take the guy who was in front of me, the first guy that I blocked, and use him as a screen, and I put him between me and the guy who's coming behind me. This is a very primary tactic of dealing with multiple attackers. First time we learned this, really. Opponents at sides didn't really cover this idea of the screen. But whenever you fight more than one person, you don't want to stay in the middle, right? You can't really do that effectively. You want to line people up. So if I had a group of people coming after me, maybe 3 or 4 people, I don't want to be in the middle. I want to find out where the biggest threat is, and I want to take that guy out, and then I want to get out of there. If I can't get out of there, I want to use that guy as a screen, put him between me and the other people, and I want to minimize the ways the attackers can come at me, right? So that's the concept of this technique. And as a martial arts student, it's the first time we've learned that in our training as we're going from white belt to black belt. So here, as orange belts trying to get a purple, it's this first time we've learned this principle of using one guy against the other guy. Statistics show that if any of us ever get attacked, hopefully it'll never happen, but if it does happen, statistically, it's most likely that it will be a man who will attack you, not a woman. It's most likely that it won't be an older guy like me or a little kid. It'll probably be a young man, and it'll probably have a friend. 2 people. Very common, 2 young men, very common attack scenario, very dangerous attack scenario. So if you're attacked by that more popular method of attack, you want to be good at being able to defeat them quickly and effectively. And one of the principles there is never to stay in the middle, but use one guy against the other guy. And this technique teaches that, the concept of taking this first guy, we block him, grab, and then we use him, we pull him in front of us. We use him as a screen as we break that guy's arm. And then we cover. I'd be covering, after I break his arm, I'll cover out toward you guys, toward the camera. Cat stance and back to a horse. Because I want to get away from these 2 people. And then I'm going to get out of there, I'm going to run. If I can't run, there's someone else there, I'll attack. Remember what we're learning about self-defense. We don't want to fight anybody. We'd much rather avoid it. We can't avoid it. If there's no way out of it, it's going to happen. We never wait. We want to take action, right? We want to hit somebody fastest and most powerful way we can to the weakest parts of their body So they're devastated, and then we want to get out of there. We don't want to linger. We want to get out. We don't want to fight all these people. We don't want to be like in a Bruce Lee movie and fight all of them. We want to end it and get out of there as fast as we can. If someone's in our way, we attack, right? We come at them with everything we have. But we need to survive, and we need to be effective, and we need to know what we're doing. And this technique is teaching us some of these new ideas. So that's handstaff, is A, B, and C. A is the double block wheel kick. That's not what we used to teach. And then the B is to block and break. So you're going that way and then that way. We now teach that in West Wind. We teach that as the A. And then the B, which used to be the C. There's two people. Or you think someone's behind you. So you step off to the side, you block, you spin around, and break. So the next one in line, right before you take your first stripe or first dawn exam, is opening cowl. An opening cowl, very common attack. Someone comes up behind you and they grab you by the neck. You think about all predators, when they attack, the most common place they'll attack a prey animal is they go for the neck, because the neck gives the most control. The head controls everything, right? But if you can crush the neck or control the neck, the signals from the brain don't make it to the body, that animal's out. So for people too, if this guy is really psychotic, he's really crazy, he's really mad at you for whatever reason, he wants to hurt you, he's cowardly, sneaking up on you from behind, he's not going to grab you in a bear hug, he's not going to put you in an arm lock, he's not going to put you in a full Nelson. It's possible, but the most likely thing he would do is, like we learned in The Dancer, he's going to grab you by your neck, right? And that's a very dangerous thing to happen, and you want to do something right away. If somebody puts their hands around your neck, it only takes literally 1 second for them to do enough damage to where you will never live again. That's the end of your life, because when they squeeze tight, the blood gets cut off to the brain and you pass out. That doesn't kill you. But when they squeeze tight on your jugular vein carotid artery complexes, they're also crushing your windpipe, your trachea, which carries air to your lungs. But you never revive because you're not getting air into your lungs anymore, right? So as soon as a strong man puts his hands on your neck, you got to do something quick. You literally got like a second. If he's very serious, he knows what he's doing. He could inflict lethal damage. And if you think about that, if somebody is that crazy where they want to kill you with their hands, they're very, very angry. And if they have that kind of psychotic anger, they're very, very strong. You got to keep that in mind. Even a smaller person, when they reach that level of psychosis, the body becomes very powerful. So if somebody grabs you around the neck, body language, they're saying, I want to kill you. And that means they're so angry at you for whatever reason that they're going to have almost superhuman power. You got to get out of this. My favorite thing, I think, out of like this technique we're going to learn called opening cowl and the dancer, it's a really good technique, and crash of the eagle that we learned way back. If I had to pick one, if that happened to me, I think I'd do crash of the eagle. I think that's my favorite, in that wide circle in the beginning using the tricep gives me tremendous leverage to take a stronger man's hands off of my neck. That's my favorite. But opening cowl works really good too. It's the same attack. I grabbing you by the neck from behind, and you feel that in A, that the opponent is some distance from you. So they're not in like this, which is probably more likely. They're more out here. There's a distance. Because there's a distance, you're not going to step away, you're going to step toward the guy. So I'll demonstrate this from the side. If I'm here and the guy's behind me and he's at some distance, what I'll do is I'll use my left leg and I'll flex my right knee, I'll try to drop, and I'll step back into a horse. As I do the horse stance, I'm going to do a really powerful outward block. I want to make my arm very tight. I want to tighten up my shoulder. I want to tighten up the latissimus dorsi muscle. I want to make everything very tight in my back, because I don't want this to collapse when I hit his arms. I want to come as fast as I can. I want to rotate my body as fast as I can. And I want to use my leg muscles to support all that by going low and flexing my legs, right? So it's a violent motion. It's fast, it's powerful. You feel your core flex, you feel your upper body flex, and you use every ounce of energy you can with this idea like, get off of me, right? This burst of energy to get his hands off of your neck. And that's called opening cowl. The cowl is this thing. It's like the cowl of your neck. This would be the cowl of the clothing. I guess back in the Renaissance period or back when people wore capes, there was an area that came up near your neck. That's the cowling, right? The cowl of your neck. So opening cowl, they have the cowl of your neck. You're going to open that up by stepping back, outward block, and you're going to use your horse stance at the same time. Then, right after you finish this motion, you turn into a right hard bow, and as you do the hard bow, you're going to drive a right elbow, and the elbow is going to go right to the guy's head. So you're going to be going block right into an elbow, 1, 2, non-stop. And the elbow is going to go right into the guy's head, probably his jaw or his temple. If you had to choose, the temple would be great. That'd be better. It's a very soft part of the skull. It doesn't take that much energy for the temple to get damaged. And if you do hit the head and you do score on the temple, it's almost like you're punching the person in the brain. They're going to get knocked out. That's the end of the fight. So opening cowl, he's kind of far away. On A, you're going to step back, outward block, hard bow, elbow, and then 2 quick punches right into the face, right into the head. Either the jaw or the nose, or if his head's turned, the temple. There's only a couple of areas of the head you do want to kind of avoid. You don't want to hit people in the forehead. The forehead's really thick. It's like hitting a brick. You don't want to hit into the teeth because the teeth are sharp. They'll cut your hand. Jaw is excellent. The bridge of the nose, excellent. Temple's the best. You can do it. Mastoid process right here. Also very good right at the jawline. Good target. Finish your knuckles in there. So, opening cowl A, we're going to step back, flex your knee, outward block, right hard bow, and then 2 punches, followed by cat stance, and then back to your horse. That's opening cowl A. Opening cowl B, the attacker is in closer, they're in tight, right? And that's more likely. If somebody's that crazy, they're that mad, they're probably not going to be back here. They're probably going to be in where they have the most leverage, right? The most power to do the most destruction. So in opening cowl B, the second one, you're not going to go toward the guy because you're jammed, right? You're going to step with your right foot away from the guy. You notice though that in opening cowl A and B, when I do the beginning on A, I'm facing you guys, right? My body's facing you. When I do B, you step forward, my body's facing you. So the way my body's turning in A and B is the same. What's different is in A, my left foot steps back, right? But in B, my right foot steps forward. But the rotation of my body is the same in A and B. So in B, I'll step and I'll do the same thing with the arm to clear those guys' hands off of me, right? I want to make my arm very tight. I'm going to step out, outward block, and then from here I'll turn into a hard bow. I won't do an elbow. This time I'll do a right punch, left punch, right punch, all 3 to the head. I just go pop, 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 1, 2, 3, as fast as I can, direct it into the head, and then I'll get out of there. That's opening cowl B. Both of these are pretty simple, huh? Pretty short. So opening cowl B, I step out with my right foot, outward block, then hard bow, right, left, right, cat stance, and then back to horse. And those are the last 2 that we would learn so we can get our first dan. We used to call it our first stripe in what we call the purple belt. So we call it purple belt because we're going for purple, but we're actually orange right now going for purple. So you need to do all your new kicks. A lot of new kicks. You need to do eagle pin, drawbridge, flashing wings, handstaff, what we would learn today, and then opening cowl, and be able to show your teacher that you really have them down, you really know them, they're second nature. And if you can do that, your teacher will say, hey, let's put you up for an exam. I hope this helps you to get ready for that test. And I think these are some very practical and very effective techniques. And thank you for watching.